All right, folks, here we go. Coach Keady, I'm going to start with you and have Todd give you a microphone.
Thank you.
You have said, and as a matter of fact, I saw you say it again yesterday on goldenblack.com, the 94 team, you won it with offense. 95 team, you won it with defense. 96 team, you're still not sure how you won it. Right? I mean, that's kind of, each team had its own unique personality.
It did. That's a good way to put it. I gave an interview yesterday to the Star, and I said, yeah, offense was key in 94, 95. We were pretty darn good on defense. And in 96, I said, I don't know how in the hell we won that thing, because I think what happened was it kind of just went up from the two teams before that. These guys took it and ran with it. And it just worked. It's like a good marriage. It just worked. And they learned how to win on the road. They learned about the tough crowds on the road in the Big Ten. They learned that you expect the unexpected and be ready for anything. So it was a good group of kids that were able to win when under tough circumstances. And I was not the easiest guy to live with, so they tolerated me. So it was like one of the things that I really appreciated was those three different teams were really different, and I really have a great deal of respect for all of them.
Brandon, you and I had a chance to talk this week when we were in Minneapolis playing Minnesota. You said that 94 team chemistry-wise, the best you'd ever been around, right? On and off the floor, you guys were one and the same, a real family.
The season before, I redshirted, and when we first got to Purdue, we were so hungry for success. We were watching other teams like IU and Michigan that were doing really well, and we knew we had the personnel and the talent. We just had to put it together. And had a tough loss in the NCAA tournament to Rhode Island. Kicked us out the first round, and everybody was so disappointed. And Coach did a great job of making sure we kept our heads up, but he also kept his foot in our hind parts. So that whole summer, I think we had to get up, be in the weight room at 6 a.m. every morning. And Greg Lehman, our former strength coach, he just kicked our tails all summer. But during that time span, we really jailed as a team. Everyone, no matter, to show you how crazy it was. You got a guy like Ian Steinbeck from East St. Louis and Todd Foster from Washington, Illinois. They're like best friends. Just from one guy's from the North Pole, one guy's from the South Pole. But it didn't matter. We did everything together. We played cards, we hung out, video games. Pickup games were so intense. And of course, we had the best player in the country in Glenn. But with what surrounded Glenn, the guys were so unselfish, and we wanted to see him excel because he deserved it. And when we stepped on the court, the chemistry was it was unbelievable, man. We talked on defense every possession, hands. We used to have this thing with Coach. Coach was such a great motivator in the locker room. But we would go to the showers. Coach knew it, man. He would be talking, and he'd say, hey, get the hell out of here. Just go to the showers. We go to the showers, we jump up and down, and we just slamming into each other, and just so ready to play. And I think it just kind of carried over.
So you were slamming into one another naked in the shower.
We had our clothes on, Rob. We had our clothes on.
I want to make sure I heard him correctly.
Clarify.
Cliz, take it from here. Crucial juncture of that season, January 27 to February 1st. Lose at Penn State. Big snowstorm doesn't allow you to get out of Happy Valley. You have to wait an extra day to get to Minneapolis to play Minnesota. Beat the Gophers on short rest, literally short rest because of travel issues. You get that win, you're so excited, tough win in the barn, but something after the game really perturbs you specifically. Please take it from here.
Yeah, because I look at the things not always associated with the game, so this was a travel deal, and we got out there and we had the pizza man deliver the pizzas, and all of a sudden someone came on the plane and said, we have a problem. What's the problem? We have the pizza man's car running, and we have the pizzas inside the car, but he's locked out. So how can we get those pizzas? So we had to go around and basically ask any of the kids on the plane if they knew how they could break into a car. And I don't know who was selected, but we did get that done.
Wasn't it Glenn?
And it took about, it cost us about 30 minutes after we got the pizzas. we took off, and we were out maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, I guess, and I noticed, and the guy sitting next to me, I said, hey, I don't think we're going up. I think we're like going down. Not quickly, but we had a landing gear problem, and the front gear hadn't retracted correctly, and so we came back, and so then we landed. It was okay. Then we had to take off again, and we got home. Now, we won that game by 3 points, and Minnesota was 13th ranked in the country at the time. So that was a big win after losing at Penn State in the old gymnasium. And so that's how the trip culminated.
Come back home, unfortunately lose to Michigan. Now you're 5-3 in the league. I remember you finished 14-4, but you're 5-3 at that juncture. Todd, are you thinking at 5-3 we got a chance to win the Big Ten, especially after losing to Michigan in your 8 games into the Big Ten schedule with already 3 losses?
Well, the biggest thing is you have Big Dog on your team. So, yeah, you got confidence. Get him the ball and get the hell out of his way. That was Coach's favorite play, you know. Right? Just get out of his way. Go stand in the corner. And we use it during noon ball some days, too. Just get away.
Funny you mention that, because after that loss, you win 8 of your final 9, the only losses at Indiana, but the biggest one, and let's face it, Coach Keady, is the win at Michigan, March 6th. You score the final 8 points of the game in the final 90 seconds to win that game. And kind of what Todd's talking about, if you don't mind taking the microphone, late in the game, the idea was get it to the big dog, right?
Yes, but it led up to, remember at Illinois we got beat, right? Did we get beat at Illinois because we didn't put a man on the ball and we didn't give Glenn the ball the last shot, right? So they go down, they throw the ball to half court, they dribble down, we foul them, and they make 2 free throws and they beat us, 1 or 2 points. So we got back coaching staff and said, hey, how stupid are we? We got to get a guy up on the ball. They can't just throw the ball where they want to. And we better get the ball to the best player in the nation to shoot the last shot. Are we idiots or what? So now we're back at Michigan, pretty much the same scenario. Game's close, ball's out of bounds. They got it. We put a guy up on the ball, and we stop him, had a shutout that possession, and then we have the last possession, and naturally we run a play for Glenn at the top of the circle, right? And he hits a long jumper to win the game. So from that losing situation in Illinois, we got a little bit smarter and then did things that it took to win. So, and the kids are coachable. They listened to you, and we had smart players that understood what it took.
Purdue would eventually win the Big Ten outright, clinching when they beat Illinois in that final game. Glenn's final game here, 49 points. Missed a couple free throws, would have had 50, but finished with 49. Let's move to the 95 season, guys. And Roy, you, of course, will be a part of this. Glenn is gone. Top pick in the NBA draft. The National Player of the Year is gone. That's the one starter you lose, Roy, from that team. And I know you weren't part of that group, but you're part of this group here in 95. Yet you're not even ranked in the top 25. Even though the season prior you'd finished in the top 5 as a ball club. Did the team feel a little disrespected starting that 95 season, not even ranked in the top 25?
I don't know if it was a feeling disrespected. It was more so like something to prove that we are a good team. And even though the best player in the country was gone, still Konzo was here. Matt Waddell was here, and there was also 6 juniors. So
Right.
there was a lot of experience. You had, 5 juniors had been through the Big Ten, and then me coming in with Konzo, Matt, and Tim. So, you felt as though you had a chance, and me not knowing what the Big Ten was about, I just followed those guys' leads. So whatever was needed, I just tried to fill in to make the team successful. And it worked out, you know what I mean? And we ended up winning the Big Ten, and during that year, Brandon and I talk about this all the time. Every game we lost, it was the juniors' fault.
Of course.
Coach Keady, God dang, the juniors alone should have won the game. It's like, Konzo didn't have a good game, neither did Matt. Those guys are our leaders. What about them? So Coach Keady was it was always the juniors. We got the blame for all the losses, but, we worked hard and ended up winning the Big Ten.
The irony, Purdue doesn't even, a team that goes 15-3 in the Big Ten that year didn't even get in the top 25 till February 7th. I don't know how that makes any sense, but I don't vote for the AP top 25. You start this season, you go to Hilo, Hawaii, you win that event, so you're 3-0 coming back stateside, but then you lose 3 in a row, right? You're up in Detroit and you lose to Missouri, I think it was, in a grade 8 thing from the year prior. So you're 3-3. The last of the 3 losses is at Western Michigan. You're on the bus ride home coming back from Western Michigan. You just lost three in a row, and Coach Keady makes you do what?
Well, first of all, I mean, you don't want to face Coach Keady after one loss. And so now, here we are on our third consecutive loss. And I remember, I'm like, man, this guy is going to be a bear when we get back home. And so after the game, Coach is just ripping into us in the locker room. And, you know, he said, man, you guys are selfish. You don't care about anything. And so we got a young freshman named David Lesman. I don't think David has played a second yet. So David just jumps up like, Coach, you wrong. He got that French accent. Coach, you wrong. I care about my God. I care about my family. I care about, and we looking like, oh my goodness, man. I said, man, so you just gonna set a time bomb off, huh? So Coach leaves out. He goes, talk to the press, and we just ripping into David like, man, next time you sit the hell down, you know. We get on the bus, and Coach said, man, I don't want to see any heads down, no hoods on, no headphones, because we bust up to Kalamazoo, so we watched the movie Major League, so we're going to watch this movie until we get back home. When it goes off, we're going to rewind it, we're going to watch it again. I don't want to see a head down, so I'm like, oh my goodness. So the whole time, like, everybody just watch. We're not watching the movie, we're watching Coach, because every time he turns around, all eyes go to the screen. Like, everybody was scared to take the eyes off that screen.
The irony, Coach Keady, of all the inspirational movies, a comedy about baseball to fire up the fellows. It obviously worked. But hey, you start the Big Ten season 1 and 2, you lose at Michigan in the opener, then you beat Minnesota, then lose at home to Illinois. And that precipitates, Coach Keady, I'll let you take it from here, a change in the starting lineup. Brad Miller and Justin Jennings go in the starting lineup. Roy and Brandon come out. You guys only lose 2 more games the rest of the year. Was it indeed that easy as making a change in a lineup?
I don't think so. I think it was just the circumstances of we want what we wanted done, because we always have a lot of goals every game. We had like 6 goals on defense, 6 goals on offense, and rebounding. So it was like a couple things weren't getting done at the level we wanted, so we just put different guys in there, and it worked. And what had anything against them personally, it just we thought we ought to win because we were better than that. So you know, I don't remember all that. You're saying stuff here, I don't remember a lot of it because I have my senior.
I'm with you. I agree.
I have some senior moments sometimes, so it's like.
Yeah, that's an age issue.
All I know is I thought we would win every game. I thought we could win every game. But I also knew I knew we could lose every game. So I never went into a game thinking we were going to win. Never went into the game thinking we were going to lose. I just wanted to play like we practiced, because we probably practiced harder than we played in a game a lot of times, right? So we were ready to play anybody, and they were willing, and they knew that when they came here what kind of format we had as a practice team and what happened if you were late. Because if you were late for anything, the bus, class, anything, you had to run 100 stairs. 100 stairs is. 1 stair is the top of Mackey and down. That's 1 stair. And you had to do 100 of those. It took about 2.5 hours. So we didn't have many guys late. But unbelievably how good a shape they were the next day. So we had good kids that tolerated me, and mostly they had good parents that understood whatever I said was going to be probably taken for granted. Anything else?
Coach, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If I was late to the bus for a game, would you leave me?
Yeah.
What about Glenn?
He was never late. But I always did say, is Glenn on the bus? And they'd say, yeah, and I'd say, let's go.
And that's true.
I left Rowinski once. You don't remember that?
I do. Yeah,
Yep.
sure do.
Went to Boston University and played. Russell Cross was playing, and Rowinski was left, and my wife, Pat, was so mad at me. Why would you treat that kid like that? I said, we got a rule. If you're late, we leave you. You got to be there. Let's go. We don't have very complicated rules. Be on time, go to class every day, and do your best. That's all my 3 rules. I didn't have like can't drink, can't smoke, can't chase girls. You had go to class every day, be on time, and try your best. And if you did those 3 things, you probably couldn't drink and couldn't smoke and couldn't chase girls. So it was a good mix, and we had good kids, and it turned out okay most of the time.
Todd, you get some you make a major play in that season early in the year at Iowa. You take a charge late, and it ends up being a huge play in a game. In a game, you were telling us earlier, you didn't even think you're going to get in the game, right?
At Iowa, we were 1 and 2, and it was I basically, to be honest with you, I got in the first half a little bit, and I remember I had some family there. My dad was there, and I haven't got to see him for a while, and some relatives, and it was less than a minute left, and we were down. We were struggling to get back in the game, and I'll be honest, Coach, I had my shoes untied. Because when after the game, you got to hustle and we get on the bus and get on that plane, and I had my shoes untied, and I wanted to run out there and see my family before we get going, and sure enough, it was like 30 seconds, and we were down 2, and we got the ball back, and sure enough, I think it was either you or Coach Weber yelled my name, and when they said my name, I kind of like, are you sure? And sure enough, we had a full court press, and sure enough, Woolridge was coming down. I thought, I can't jump that high. I know he's going to pass it, so I'm just going to disguise it. And sure enough, he just came running into me, and he hit me, and they called it. It was a charge. I'm going to call it. It's a charge. And get up to the line, we're down 2, and it was probably whatever it was, 20 seconds. And I remember Conzo and everybody was talking trash, and I wanted to talk trash, but I had to shoot the shots. And then I was scared. I just kept on saying, just breathe. Just keep on breathing. And Kingsbury came up and squeezed my hand, and Woolridge kept talking to me, and I hit that first one, and I hit the second one. It's tie game. And man, my ego just, yeah, let's talk, you know. We got fortunate, and then they came down, and they turned it over, and it was our ball back. I got called back out there, and I still had my shoes tied. I didn't tie them then. And I got fortunate, made Conzo, we made a cut, and we made eye contact. My man cut in front of me. They sent JJ, I think you went deep. And I went deep. I made eye contact with Zoe. He threw it over. It was like 4 seconds, whatever. I went up and caught it. And the guy, JJ's man, came back and fouled me. And then just, you know, God gave me the time, just give me that call and get me in that position. And I was scared crapless to shoot this last one.
So was that the game where I got kicked out?
No.
Okay.
That was a different one.
That was the Iowa game, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Iowa.
And we were behind. I don't know. It was a horrible call. And the one coach, as I walked by the bench, Tom Davis, the coach, said and laughed at me. I said, "Let me tell you something, son. If I ever see you out in the street, I'm going to kick your ass." And I walked back in the dressing room. Excuse my language. And after the game, we won it. I was back in the back watching TV, throwing popcorn at the TV, and they were filming it, and I didn't know it. And Kathleen has watched that, so she's ripping me now, even to show some class once, like Pat did. So they asked me after, what was the difference in the game? I said, because Bruce took over as a coach, right? I said, the difference was we finally got a good coach. The writers liked that, so that was good. So
All right, we're down to our final 5 minutes. We're going to fast forward to the 96 season. Some great wins in there, beating a top 25 Michigan team not once but twice during that run. You beat Penn State, who was 8th at the time, but probably none bigger, I think it's safe to say, than the Chad Austin game winner, 74-72 at Bloomington, February 25th. When the horn sounds, Porter Roberts punts the ball into the stands. Todd Foster is dancing on the IU logo at midcourt. Brian Cardinal, who's a redshirt freshman, doesn't even play, is talking trash to the IU fans. I mean, Roy, that was the game, right? Probably one you'll never forget.
Yeah, that was actually a good game because we swept them. We beat them twice that year, and that was one of our goals the coach had, was to sweep the I's, Indiana and Illinois, if I'm not mistaken, and in Iowa. Yeah, so we got a chance to do that on their home floor, to sweep them, and I remember, when Chad hit that shot, it was like, one of those big moments, and then when it was over, I don't know, the ball was bouncing, and Porter put that thing way up in the rafters, man. And it was just fun because, I didn't understand the Purdue, Indiana rivalry. I'm an East Coast kid. And then when I got here, I used to wear these compression shorts, and they was red because my junior college, they were red, white, and blue. And it was really comfortable. And I used to like roll them up because I know if they showed, I don't know if it was a tech back then or not, whatever the rules were. And I remember right before that game, they wasn't in my bag, in my laundry bag. So all the week leading up to that particular game, Coach Kendrick was in practice talking about how much he hated red. I hate red, and you know, he was just going on and on about the IU thing, and so the next day in practice, my compression shorts was gone, and I was like, "Where are they?" So then I think I asked Marty at the time, was the guy who was handling the equipment, and he said that Frank didn't want them in there because they was red, and we was getting ready to play IU. So that was my introduction to how intense that rivalry is. You know what I'm saying? And to go down there and get that win, you know, Chad hit a real big shot, and done it his whole career. So that was great.
Can I say this about Chad? Chad sitting over there. Chad hit those 2 back-to-back jumpers to win the game against Indiana. So I'm so happy about that and so obligated to him that if I'm in Afghanistan and he needs help, I'll fly home and help him. And I think that much of it.
A big round of applause, please. 20th anniversary, the three-peat, P-E-T-E. Thank you, everyone. See you in Mackey.